Hey guys, so I really don't want to make this video, but I think I should because if you have been watching my channel for at least a couple of years, you probably have seen some kitties in the videos. And unfortunately, I have to tell you that we lost both Sola and Luke about 4 months ago. And I normally wouldn't put out non-gardening related content on this channel, but they were such a big part of my garden. And they were in the videos a lot. And I feel like I owe it to you, I owe it to them to make this video sort of a memorial for them. And it took me a long time, obviously, 4 months to sit down and talk about it because I only now am starting to heal a little bit from what happened. So I'm just going to sit down and talk about them and all the joy that they brought into our lives. And I'll start with Sola. Sola was the sweetest animal I've ever met. She knew no strangers. She was friendly with everyone. She was friendly to dogs, to cats, to kids, to people. If there was a UFO that landed in our backyard, she would just come over and say hello. She was so hospitable. Like, that's the one word I can think of when I think of her. She was all love. And I think she was all love because we actually found her on Valentine's Day in 2009 when we had our house in Pennsylvania. And our house was interesting because it didn't have like a formal backyard. It was all woods in the back because it was marshland, so nobody could build on it. And our nearest neighbors were kind of far away. And one day when we came home, we saw this kitty in the woods. And it was very cold outside. I took her inside the house and we asked our neighbors if somebody lost a cat. Nobody did. And I saw that she was not taken care of. Like, I saw it right away. She was very thin. So we took her to the vet. We were hoping maybe she has a microchip. She did not have a microchip, and the vet told us that she was extremely malnourished. She had infestation of fleas and mites in her ears. So we took her in. The vet said just give her this medication, take care of her, feed her a lot. And nobody came to claim her, and we kept her as our own. And boy, do I glad we did. She was so, so sweet. And did she gain weight? She did. She doubled her weight after a couple of months. She was a very healthy and very beautiful cat. Again, really friendly with everyone. When the dog came into our lives, I was a little bit concerned about the kitties that we had. And she was the first one to greet him. It was just so sweet. All of the neighbors knew her because she loved to be outdoors. So any passersby would say hi to her. And she was just all love, all love. So when we found her, we actually didn't know how old she was. The vet estimated she was maybe anywhere between 3 and 5 years. She also had feline AIDS, which is common among outdoor cats, but the vet said she can live with it, but eventually can catch up to them. So she has lived with us for a very long time, since 2009. She was healthy most of the time, just full of energy. She was with me in the garden. Anytime I was in the garden, she was my sidekick. She would go outside every moment she could, unless it was bad weather, which She was very sweet, but she wasn't stupid. She wasn't going outside if it was raining or snowing really bad. She loved to be in the garden. She was like the garden feature that I always thought about when I thought about her. She would just walk around, look at the flowers. She never would wander anywhere else outside the boundaries of our garden, which was amazing. We think that she was an outdoor cat that when we found her, and outdoor cats tend to wander off, and she never did. So she was just full of love, full of just sweet, sweet energy toward everyone. Now, Luke was truly my baby, and his story was very interesting. So back in 2011, when I was working for a real estate development firm in the city, what they would do is they demolish old buildings and build new ones. And apparently at one of the demolitions, they didn't realize there was a cat nest somewhere in that foundation. They would always check for any sort of animal nests, but there was just no way to know that it was there. And during the demolition, the mom cat ran away, and apparently there were, I think, 4 or 5 kittens, and only 2 survived. And I received a phone call in the office from the owner of the company, and he said, "Hey, we have these 2 kittens. I know you have cats." And we had 5 cats, 4 cats at that time. We had Sophia, who was just here, Sola already was in our lives, and Socrates and Easy, who since passed away. They lived to be 21 years old, but we lost them. Anyway, the owner thought because I have cats, I can take care of these kittens. And so I ended up with these 2 kittens in the box. And when they brought them to me, I had no idea how tiny they were. They were the size of a hamster, maybe even smaller. But they were nowhere, like they couldn't go anywhere else. So I brought them home and I took them to the vet right away. And the vet said they were maybe 2 days old. And they would have fostered them at the vet, but unfortunately they were busy. It was springtime, and springtime is a very busy time for fostering kittens. But they told me that they could teach me how to feed them and how to take care of them. And I did. It wasn't easy. Taking care of kittens that small requires a lot of attention. You have to feed them every 2 hours. You have to clean them, you have to brush them. You have to basically be a cat mom. And I was working at the same time, so what I would do, I would put them in a carrier and go to the city on New Jersey Transit and then on New York City subway with this carrier with these 2 kittens. Fortunately, they are deaf, I think up to 2 weeks old, so they couldn't hear anything at first. So that wasn't bothering them too much. And I would just feed them during my work hours. I would feed them at night. Unfortunately, the girl, there were a boy and a girl. The girl did not survive at day 10. She was too damaged during demolition, so she didn't make it, and it was so painful to me to lose that kitten. But Luke survived, and he survived against all odds. And he was a fighter. He was a fighter from the beginning in his spirit, and he had a lot of health issues. Hand-raised kittens a lot of times develop digestive issues, lung issues, urinary problems, and we had all of those. In fact, Michael always would tell me that he was the most expensive free cat we've ever had, because we had one emergency vet visit after another for all of these issues. But he was a fighter. He fought through all of that. And Luke was so attached to me. I could hold him whatever way I wanted to. He trusted me 100% because he knew that I raised him from day one or day two, however old he was. He loved to be outside. He would just hang out on the couch right next to us if we were sitting out there and having coffee or reading newspaper. If I was gardening, he was out there with us. He was a beautiful cat. He was, I think, a Siamese mix. He had the classic cross-eyed of a Siamese cat, especially when he was trying to concentrate on something. He was into everything. He was into everything in the house. He would be very obnoxious sometimes. And I would remember him as just being of a lot of spirit and a fighter, and just someone who was with me from the very beginning. Anyway, we are definitely going to get a kitten at some point, but our oldest cat, who's Sophia, she's almost 17 years old, and she's in good health, but she can't hear. And I think having a little kitten in the house would just scare her, because she's right now a little bit nervous. Even if you approach her from the back, she can't hear and she gets a little scared. And having a little kitten jumping and running around, I didn't think it would be great for her. So we're just trying to be really respectful to her. And with our dog, Mishka, we're definitely going to have to get a kitten, because with other grown-up cats, he's not as good as with our own cats. He loved our cats. He loved Sola and Luke, and he loves Sophia, and they loved him back. But he had a really bad experience with an outside cat that attacked him. So any grown-up outside cat, I think, is not an option. So it's going to have to be kitten, because it is much easier to adjust. So I just wanted to let you know that you won't be seeing Sola and Luke in videos anymore, but you can see the videos from years ago where you can watch them play and enjoy the garden. And I will watch those videos too, with just the sweetest, best memories of them being in the garden, being cats, and enjoying their life.